Welcome to the ArmaniTalks YouTube channel. I'm your host, ArmaniTalks. In this channel, I'm helping you level up your communication skills. In this episode, I'm going to be explaining the negativity bias for dummies. It often feels as though that the negative moments in our life stick out from the positive moments. And to stretch this idea even further, we can also start to see that the tendency to be negative can lead to supreme creativity. Now wait, before you say that that idea is ridiculous, let me give you an example. Imagine that I tell you that you're going to have a speech later today where you have to speak in front of 500 people. And in that group of 500 people, a lot of them are going to be your friends, your family, your coworkers, people that you know. If you're like most people with speech anxiety, what's going to happen next? What's going to happen is a lot of vivid imagery of you failing the event, a lot of events of what will go wrong, the negatives. But think about it. The event has not even occurred. So where are you getting these extremely vivid details from with these vivid narratives, with these vivid storylines? Where are you getting it from? By simply asking yourself this question, we start to reframe the mind regarding the negativity bias from it being, oh, well, I'm just being negative, to, whoa, I'm actually being supremely creative. Just making this insight is huge, but more importantly, it allows us to understand basically old school softwares in a new school world. The reason that we are negative and the reason that negative moments stick out more than positive moments is a lot due to old school softwares, due to a lot of our ancient ancestors needing to survive. They needed to be alert for like the negative moments. Our ancient ancestors didn't have the luxury of sitting down, doing gratitude, meditating. They didn't have that luxury. So for them, they needed to focus supremely on the negatives. But in the modern world, things are different. Most people have a house. Most people have shelter. If you're watching this video, most people are connected with technology. So in this new school era, the whole goal is to now understand the negatives and the positives. Yet, like I said, old school software is manifesting in the new school world. But you gotta ask yourself, well, if I am feeling negative, why am I feeling creative at the same time? This is pretty much nature trying to guide us into adopting new softwares. It's like, yo, fam, you're focusing too much on the wrong things. Focus on the right things. How are you becoming more creative? Zone in on this. Why are you becoming more creative? And basically, when we have a strong level of the negativity bias, with this paradigm of creativity, what it's trying to get us to do is to become creators ourselves. And the way that we do this is by finding ways to embrace the good and the bad. To give you an example of this, when I was first starting Toastmasters, I was not a big fan of giving speeches. Like the whole tendency of it would make me envision the worst and completely undermine the creativity. Well, as I invested in Toastmasters for a couple of years, eventually I was able to deal with the negatives. And soon I became what we call a mentor. Each club has mentors for the new members. And at this point, I was serving as the mentor that was guiding another new speaker named Paul. He was extremely nervous. And to make matters even worse, he didn't understand the art of content creation. And as we were prepping for his speech, his very first couple of runs, his story was extremely boring. He kept talking about good things after good things after good things. And I'm like, bro, man, this isn't a story. This is boring. And he was like, boring? Why are you saying it's boring for? I was like, because it's too positive, man. There's no negatives. There needs to be negatives because now there will be a conflict. And when I said that to him, there was this realization. Wait a minute. You are actively telling this guy to have a negative in his story. Why did you just do that? It's because when we view this whole process of positive negatives from the angle of storytelling, we start to embrace the positive and the negatives. Earlier, when I used to be extremely nervous in terms of speech anxiety, I wasn't viewing it from the perspective of a story. Rather, I was just viewing it from the perspective of, oh no, good or bad. But as I was talking to Paul and I was basically taking myself out of it, I started to understand that in order to be supremely creative, we needed to embrace the good plus the bad. This all ties in with negativity bias because the more that we naturally start to see how imaginative that we are during moments of negativity, we gradually start to spark the tendency to adopt new softwares in this ever-changing world. We no longer start to think like a lot of the ancestors did back in the days, where they had like the caves and all that kind of stuff. But we start to adopt new softwares which embrace positives and negatives. And in this case, by using that creative energy in any sort of vehicle, the positives and the negatives are being leveraged. I personally like storytelling the most because I believe this is the perfect way to use the positives and negatives and combine it into one force. Everything regarding creation, it allows us to transcend duality into unity. Duality, right or wrong, unity embraces right and wrong. Right and wrong creates the whole process of the story. So all in all, the next time that we do have a negativity bias, we could just be like, well, this is old school programming, but what is it trying to show me? Whoa, man, I'm actually a pretty creative dude, man, very creative. I wonder if I can use this creative energy in a certain field, which will allow me to adopt new software. Who knows? Maybe I could join a Toastmasters and have Armani coach me like he coached Paul. Something like that. And this eventually rewires the negativity bias to transcend into unity. That's negativity bias for dummies. Use this as a moment to be a victor, not a victim, an artist rather than simply a consumer. Use the negatives to fuel a powerful conflict in your story. Thank you for joining the Armani Talks YouTube channel, and I'll catch you on the next episode.